Hey everyone, welcome back to Blakesley Acres. I'm Joe. Um, Today I am going to be talking about the basics of starting chicks. I don't have any chicks right now to show you guys in this video. I might be able to put a link in the description or up top here somewhere of recent videos over the last couple of years that I've done, showing my brooder setup and how I set that up. I designed the brooder to be fully automated with the heat. Just helps, especially if you're working, you're away from home. You get into that early mid-spring when the nights are cold but the days are warming up, and it fluctuates that brooder temperature quite a bit. I obtained a lot of losses of chicks from that, just working away from home for so long. So I set my brooder up with a Inkbird temperature controller, and you can set your temperatures in there, and it'll turn your heat lamps or heating, whatever you choose to use for your brooder. It'll be able to turn it on and off for you, which has saved a ton of chicks for me in the last 2 years since I built that. So it's a pretty awesome setup. I will try to link that in the description below. So to start, where are you going to buy your chicks? A lot of local farm egg stores will be selling chicks in the spring. They buy their chicks from hatcheries. Usually those are safe. You know, all the hatcheries have been tested for diseases and everything. So and they kind of deal with the shipping side of it. So those chicks that you're getting from Tractor Supply, Runnings, any of your local egg store and feed store, those chicks kind of have already had a decent little start to them. So it's not a bad option. I've bought a lot of chicks from feed stores, and I might buy chicks from the feed store this year. So that or a local breeder. There's going to be a lot of backyard people hatching chicks this year. Those aren't bad options. They might not have testing, but you might get some hybrid vigor. You might find people doing purebred hatching chicks out of their small flocks in their backyard, and those people probably are quality of the animal. If you're looking for a purebred animal or purebred poultry, they're probably going to have a better quality of bird than you're going to get from just any old hatchery. Not saying anything's wrong with hatchery birds. They just they're breeded for quantity versus quality. If you're looking for show type animals, going to a good breeder might be your best bet. So the big thing is having a brooder setup. That could be, if you're looking at just 6 chicks, 12 chicks, it could be a tote, plastic tote, cardboard box with some, first couple days you're going to want, I like using paper towels. Keeps the chicks from trying to eat the wood chips until they figure out where their feed and water is. After about a week, I'll transition them onto a good wood chip. I like doing like that between fine and bigger flakes. The fine flakes the chicks are able to turn over, keep the manure turned in. The heavier chips I have found, the manure will build up on top, cake on top, and you're going through a lot more bedding that way. You want your heating elements to be able to maintain a temperature for the first week around 95 degrees, and then I like to drop that by 5 degrees every week after that until they are fully feathered, and then you can transition them out to whatever your outdoor temps are at the time. I try to do that gradually, especially here in Western New York. We could have snow in May still, so I try not to shock the chicks too much. But the brooder is set up outside, so as I decrease that temperature, even after they're fully feathered, if it's still cold and snowy, depending on what time of year I have chicks, I will just keep lowering the temperature in that whatever fluctuates until it gets to whatever the outdoor temperature is on a regular basis. Chick feed, you're going to want a good quality chick starter. Laying chickens and meat birds to have 2 different requirements. Meat birds are going to take a higher percentage of protein versus a layer. A good 18% chicks starter grower for layers is more than sufficient. I feel for what I do. Meat birds can do like a 24% starter, and then you'll gradually lower that down to a 20 or 18% depending on your specifics on the breed, the Cornish genetics that you're using. It's all personal preference. I like feeding mine out. I usually start them at a 20 and I just keep them at 20 straight through. So yeah, it's personal preference on how you want to raise your chicks. Eventually those laying chickens you'll cut back to a 16% layer feed, mash, crumb, like I said, your choosing. So water, it's a big thing. You always want to keep clean, fresh water in front of your chicks and chickens at all times. I like to use an electrolyte for the fresh chicks that I get in. So when I get chicks in the mail, every single chick I pull out of that box, as I count them, I'm checking them over, making sure they don't have pasty butt, nothing's wrong with them. I will dip each chick's beak into the water that has that electrolyte, get them used to figuring out where the water is. So I'll get them all taken care of that way, make sure they're all drinking. You'll notice those chicks will start flocking to that water once they know where it's at. Another little trick I do, and it works great for me. Most chicks will get curious and they'll find that feed on their own, but I'll go in there and I'll just cluck like a hen and use my finger to poke at the feed. And usually the chicks take right to that and they'll come over to see what's going on. And it just shows them where the feed is, and gets them a good start. So that's the basics of starting chicks. If you guys like, I can do a more detailed video, kind of go over my brood year stuff. Like I said, I'm going to kind of put my brooder video in the description, at least a link in the description below. So if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, share, and ring that notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Hope to catch you guys on the next one.